Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We gonna light it up. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We gonna light it up.
Hey guys, how we doing tonight? Welcome in. Welcome into everybody. So we do have, okay, everything's hooked up. Just making sure that we're all hooked up for tonight's live. I'm just going to move the iPad closer to me there. There we go. So welcome in everybody. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Tanya or TitaniumBuilt. You can call me either or. Thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate it. It's Friday the 22nd and it is Friday evening. So everybody should be off work by now, hopefully. Hopefully you are. Hopefully you're off for the weekend. Hopefully you're off for the whole weekend. But we are going to go over the rest of our documents. You did, baby girl? I bet it looks cute. I just curled my hair just a minute ago. I was like, I'm going to curl it. I don't know why I do that to myself. Because usually, I don't know about you guys, but when you start curling your hair, I don't know if like it happens with you, but like I pull mine up in sections and the first section will look like, okay. And then the second section, it's like, I don't know. It just doesn't look good at first. And then after I'm done, it usually looks okay. So, but thank you guys for being here. Not over here, Aries. We are cool sailing. We are smooth sailing. But welcome in, everybody. It's good to see you. I see that we have some of the mods are in here. I think all the mods might be in here. I think, yeah, all three of them. Look at that. It's my lucky night. It's my lucky night. Oh, see, mine are kind of, I guess, beachy waves, but better than normal, I guess. I'm just not good with the curling iron. I use a curling wand. I bought a curling iron. Still not good with it. I know. We did have a lot in our earlier. I don't know if you're talking about tonight or our earlier chat, but in our earlier chat we did. I'm going to put my seat down a little bit. But yeah, so we did a live earlier. If you missed it, we went over the new crime scene photos that just came out. I think there was like, how many do we go over? There was like 300 and some that were released. They're not releasing anything of the victims' bedrooms or of the victims themselves, and I'm totally fine with that because they do have two of the families are suing the courts right now, so they are going to be dealing with that, and we'll be going through that too as well. So whenever there's like documents that come out or anything that we know of, I'll make sure that we are covering that part of the case as well, because we want to see what happens, if the parents of the victims, end up getting what they want and they do redact all of the crime scene photos, or if they decide just to redact like they have been, just blurring the bodies out and still putting them out. I don't know what they're going to do. So I know that there's supposed to be 180 some that were supposed to come out from Moscow, and we only got like 23 or 28 maybe. So there are a lot that are still coming out from there. So and I can actually maybe show you if I can figure out where it went. Okay, so these are all the ones that we went over today. These are all the pictures. And then these ones are of the first batch that came out. And the ones that have the image are the ones that we actually have the images for. And so a lot of them are missing. And I think it says, yeah. So we got 23 pictures. And I think there was supposed to be like 180 some that came out. I'm not sure. So I'm not sure exactly how many on that. But we do have all of the ISP records and the MPD records in there as well. And Body Movin' had put this together, and she just keeps adding to it. And bless her heart. Bless her heart. It's been a big help. So now we can go over to the documents. Let me go back to where we were. I was reading through it a little bit. And then I stopped. I was like, wait, just keep reading with them. So we are on page 115 of 556. We're doing pretty good. So thank you guys all for being here. If you guys don't mind, we take a second and hit the like button. It just helps the video get out into the algorithm. More people will enjoy the video, and it helps your girl out. I appreciate it so much. Hey, Adriana. Hey, Magamama. Welcome in. Welcome in, everybody. Aries is like, I'm in New York. I was about to say, explain that one, Aries. It's kind of funny. Okay. If you would like to become a member of our channel throughout the live, it is pinned up at the top. We'd love to have you become a member. We do members only giveaways. We do members lives, all those things. So if you want to be included in that, then make sure you become a member. And for some reason, my name wasn't on there. So there we go. There we are. Okay. All is good. All is well. So I'm going to just start reading through these. I'm going to try not to, say redacted too many times. If you're playing a drinking game and you want to, make the code word redacted, you'll probably be drunk in the next few minutes because it does say it a lot, but I'm going to try not to use it. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to tell you guys the date entered, because on one of these reports, they reached out to the school and they were requesting some sort of like, a student transcript or something along those lines. And the school never got back to them. And it was like months later. And he was like, I'm writing this report and they still haven't gotten back to me. I'm just like, way to be trying to help out, I don't know. So the first one, it was entered in 4/9/2023. So we're starting to get, more into the Brian Koberger territory, where he was, has been arrested at this point. He's been in jail. They're still going through doing their due diligence and ruling people out. And they're still talking to witnesses and seeing what they have to say. Another thing that came out that I forgot to mention, last night during our live, the body cam footage came out from the morning of the homicide. So if you guys haven't got a chance to see that, it is on last night's live. So we were actually reading through the documents when we heard about it. So this is going to be about Brian Koberger. And it says on January 27th, 2023, defense expert Matt Nodal processed 1122 King Road at the request of KCCPD Taylor. That's Ann Taylor. I was present during his processing. Okay. Nodal, I don't know if I'm saying that right, collected multiple items from the residence. So it says here, and I think we might have read this one, but I think we might have read this page, but not, we were like right around this page when we stopped. So it says that he collected items including clothing from the laundry room, swabs of various stains from throughout the residence, wall sections and flooring from Kernodle and Mogan's rooms containing various stains. And it says, I photographed the items he collected, and he completed his processing at 4:45 and he left the scene. And then on February 6, 2023, I completed a final walkthrough video of the residence. I entered the photos and video into evidence and located at ISP District 2 office and provided copies to MPD. So the next one is going to be about the Elantra and processing the car. And today when we were looking at the crime scene photos, we did get to see Brian Koberger's car and included in those. So this is from reported date 4/9/2023. And up at the top, it's just talking about that ISP is, from the request of MPD, are here to assist with the homicides, of Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. It says on Friday, December 30th, Brian C. Koberger was arrested. So then Detective Talbot was assigned as the lead crime scene investigator. On March 9th, 2023, it says, I processed Koberger's 2015 Hyundai Elantra for additional evidence at the MPD evidence garage. All items collected were turned over to MPD. So they're searching his car. And let's see what this says here. Okay. On March 9th, 2023, Dustin Blanker, Corporal Brett Paint, and I processed Koberger's Elantra for additional evidence. The vehicle was secured inside the MPD evidence garage, and we did see that in the pictures today. MPD evidence technician Tim Smallridge was also present. I photographed the items, processed and packaged the items. The following was collected. Exhibit 1, turn signal and wiper activator from the steering column. Okay. Exhibit 2, gear shift and boot from the center console. The items collected were turned over to E.T. Smallridge. Okay. I entered the scene photographs into evidence located at ISP District 2 and provided copies. I wonder why they took just, these items. Like, I'm curious about that. So this was on 4/17/2023. And okay, so this one says, during the subsequent investigation following the homicide of Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonzalez, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin on November 13th, 2022, Idaho State Police and the FBI, it says the FBI Task Force Officer Gideon Roberts reviewed several tips and contacted or attempt contact with several subjects. During this time, Brian Koberger was identified as the suspected perpetrator and arrested. The following tips were evaluated. Contact was attempted with all the subjects and successful with some. So these are the people that were apparently a suspect or a person of interest in this, in this case. How many numbers we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 20 here, and then we have this one, but these are like, this is all redacted out. So I'm not sure why that's redacted out. So the first one's going to be on 4/17, and it's a 21-year-old male. Then we have a 20-year-old male. And it says, during the subsequent investigation following the homicides, I reviewed several tips and contacted or attempted contact with several subjects. During this time, Kohlberger was identified as the suspect, perpetrator, and arrested. The following tips were evaluated by investigators, follow-up started, and some subjects contacted. And then it gives the serial numbers, and it says, per tip information, multiple reporting parties believed, and it says, redacted and redacted should be looked at as possible suspects due to prior online activity. On February 28th, 2023, I contacted, and it's redacted by phone. He advised me he was studying abroad in Spain, but was willing to meet with an FBI agent in Spain for an interview. Several days later, I was contacted by this person's mother, who advised me she had spoken with her son and he would be declining to meet for an interview until he returned home in June so he could have his attorney present. Multiple unsuccessful attempts were made to contact redacted. During that time, Kohlberger was identified as the primary suspect and arrested. I would have still contacted them and been like, you shouldn't have been running from me, boy. So then serial number 3190 per tip information. And what did they say RP was? Reporting parties. Okay, so reporting party believed two brothers from the redacted family who were allegedly at the University of Idaho should be looked at as possible suspects due to alleged conversations heard at a California campsite after the homicides. On February 6, 2023, they contacted this person regarding the tip information. This person advised that the redacted family had been at the resort at the time reported, or the reported time. This person advised she'd provide the redacted family my contact info and pass on my request for contact. Okay. On February 28th, this is where it says it. So this was written on 4/17. So April 17th. And it says, on February 28th, I contacted staff at the U of I and inquired about the validity and existence of their being enrolled student brothers. And it's from this family. At the time of this report, I have not received any information from the U of I. So he reaches out February 28th. This is April 17th, and they still haven't gotten back to him about it. Like, it takes you 2 seconds to look up and see if a student's enrolled or not at your school. Were you scared that you were going to look it up and then you're going to be like, yeah, and that was going to be the person that did this? I don't know. I wouldn't think so because they already had their suspect. By February 6th, he was already in prison or in jail for a month. So I don't know. I don't know why they wouldn't get back to them, but I was just like, dang, that's not cool. Hey, PJ. Hey, Kara. Welcome in. Kara's already been in here, but that's okay. I'll say hi again. So, on the next one, it was 4/21 is the reported date. And then the approval date's not till 5/4. Okay. So it says that they maintained a running report as instructed while assisting Moscow Police Department with the homicide investigation. So lead 5839 on December 2nd, 2022. Spencer Knudsen and Detective Barrett conducted a phone interview with someone, and they stated that he is next door neighbors of the victims. He stated he was in a slight altercation with a kid named, and it's redacted, and it's at the Corner Club earlier in the spring. This person provided us with the name of the person who was his roommate. This incident can be closed. The next one, same two people. They conducted a phone interview with someone. They stated that during last semester, he had an altercation with someone, and it's redacted at the Corner Club bar. They stated that this person told him that he was going to knock him out. This person stated that the other guy was really drunk that night and had no further contact with him. This incident can be closed. Okay. on lead 413 on December 3rd, 2022. Detective Barrett and Detective Knudsen conducted a phone interview. And it says they stated that this person stated she talked to Detective Lake on a Tuesday after the incident happened. She stated she called in a tip on this person who she went to college with. She stated that this person is violent against women. She stated that during a Halloween party in 2020, it says had her friend's hair pulled. Okay, her friend had her hair pulled by this person. Stated that she has heard this other person talking about women, and that she has seen this person fight with other males. She stated that in August of 2022, there was a group chat going on, and this person stated that Maddie and him redacted. Okay. She stated that this person got mad during the chat and called Maddie a bitch. This incident can be closed. Guess it wasn't anything else to go forward with. So this is on April 18th at 3 p.m. or 3:15 p.m. Detective O'Hara and an ISP detective and Federal Bureau of Investigation Task Force Officer Gideon Roberts interviewed somebody about his interactions, like regarding his interactions with Brian Kohlberger. So this person was identified and it's redacted. And it says in Kohlberger as a teaching assistant for one of the classes that this person was enrolled in. So the following is the service of a search warrant on WSU. And then the search warrant was because of the ongoing investigation into the murders, So they interviewed regarding interactions with Kohlberger. It says, listen to the audio recording for full details. I hate that. Why don't they just maybe put a transcript out in these documents? I don't know. So during the first semester of 2022, he was enrolled in the criminal justice course, and Kohlberger was a TA for the course. He had very few interactions with Kohlberger. BK was present the first or second day of the course to introduce himself, but was absent a majority of the time. Did he? I don't know what he'd be thinking. He only remembered 2 notable interactions with BK. So the first time was when he was meeting with somebody following an absence due to an unexpected family member's death. During that meeting, BK was in the room but didn't say anything. This person thought he was strange. I guess a normal person, if they ever heard that, they would say sorry for your loss, or, maybe he just stayed quiet. I don't know. The second time was during a scheduled Zoom meeting between him, someone else, and BK. At the scheduled time, neither the other person nor BK were on the call, so he sent an email inquiring if they were still available to meet. A short time later, Kohlberger joined the Zoom meeting from this person's office, which he thought was strange. He was able to quickly discern that this redacted and BK were not on good terms with each other. In part, by the way, this other person was telling BK to end the meeting. A short time after the Zoom meeting ended, he received an email from this other person, this prior professor, advising him that he wasn't upset with his questions, but instead he had other stuff going on, which he assumed meant BK. He didn't have any other personal firsthand information to provide, but he had heard from several other people of issues between this person. There's a person here and it's redacted, and BK. However, he was unable to provide any names or for a follow-up. His impression of BK was that BK was standoffish, a bit odd, and just weird. The interview ended at about 3:15 p.m. Okay. I wish they elaborate on weird. What do you mean by weird? We're all a little weird. Weird as in he stares at people a little too long, or weird as in y'all thought he was a murderer and nobody said anything. because that's what happened. So over here, it's two people that are asking to speak about Brian Koberger talking to a student. So on March 2nd at about 2:53 p.m., these guys, the MPD, spoke with this person. They spoke with this person at MPD in reference to Koberger being her TA. She provided the following information and later emailed screenshots between her and BK. Okay. BK was only in class every few weeks and sometimes only for half of the class. He never seemed to talk or communicate with any of the students in class. BK would sit in the back of the class near where she would sit. He always seemed to be staring at her when she would look up. He graded harshly and gave her a C in the class. She stated, "I don't get C's." Later, her professor, the professor, changed it to an A, agreeing with her that he graded unfairly. That's a big jump. Like from a C to an A. Well, good thing she said something. Before talking with, I believe, the professor, she emailed Koberger concerning her grades. She stated his comment was, "Sucks for you. You didn't know what you were doing." That's professional. Like, really? 163214. I wish that somebody would have said that to him when he was at DeSales getting his degree for criminal justice. I wish Ramslin, if he even technically ever met her, I wish she would have looked at him and been like, "Sucks for you. You didn't know what you were doing. And we'll give you a C." Actually, his rap game's an F. You failed that miserably. Miserably. And I would play it, but they'll freaking take my stream down because stupid background music. So I got to put his rap song to a different background music. I need to do that. So then on March 3rd, she shared screenshots of emails between her and BK. Oh, wait. It says right here, she felt at times BK would intentionally leave the class at the same time and follow her out to her car. Okay, so these are about the stalkers, I think, with Kaylee, the guys that may have been out like in the parking lot when they were when she was leaving. But it says the first person is 26, second person 28. Jeez, y'all are older. Why are you trying to be going after a 20-some-year-old girl, like a 20-year-old, 21-year-old girl at the time? So then on November 23rd, 2022, at approximately 10 a.m., Detective O'Hare, Detective Powell reviewed security footage, redacted, in their security room. A tip had been received that Gonzalez had reported to her father that someone was following her while she was shopping. On October 14th, the footage we reviewed was dated October 14th, 2022. So, during the review of the video footage, Gonzalez was seen entering at 7:24 p.m. As she enters, she passes two males, and you can see them stare at her as she walks past them. The two males were later identified, and their names are redacted. Gonzalez walks directly to the alcohol coolers and picks up a case of White Claw. After picking up the White Claw, Gonzalez walks to the self-checkout registers. This person sees Gonzalez walk past them and immediately starts to follow Gonzalez. While she's checking out at the register, this person stands back watching her from a distance. That would be scary. Once Gonzalez finishes checking out, she leaves the store and walks towards her vehicle, which is parked in the far east parking lot along Farm Road. This person follows Gonzalez to her car but doesn't make contact with her. He turns and walks back inside, and he meets up with the other person. So those two people finish their shopping and check out. As they're walking to the exit, they pass the self-checkout registers and both stare at an unknown female checking out in the self-checkout. Redacted walks outside and stands next to the pillars in front of These people actually they pushed their grocery cart to his vehicle. Okay. Once the unknown female exits, this person walks past. You can see him start to follow her. She seems to be aware he is following her and does a loop past her vehicle and then walks towards the vehicle she came in. She did not, this guy did not appear to make contact with her and continued to walk towards, I guess, their vehicle. That's weird. They followed two different people out. Like, I mean, I don't know. That's a little weird. I would be sketched out about that too. So, they interviewed this person, the next person at their apartment. And he identified his friend as redacted. So this is the people that were at the grocery store. So they went to the grocery store. They went grocery shopping together after school. At times, this person will see a girl he wants to talk to and will sometimes follow a girl outside the store and try to talk to her outside. He will do this because he is really shy and doesn't want to be rejected in front of his friends. Well, if I'm checking out and I notice that someone is standing back and they're staring at me the whole time I'm checking out, and then I'm going out to my car and they start following me, you bet your ass they're not going to get a date. I would be like, you're weird. That's weird and creepy to do that. I'm cool. I'm cool. So they interviewed the other guy, looks like. Says goes grocery shopping with this person every day after school. He was showed a clip of the security footage of him following Kaylee out to her car when she was leaving. He agreed that he was following Gonzalez. He followed her out of the store to try to talk to her and get her phone number. He was unaware of who she was, and according to him, he did not talk to her. The reason he followed her outside instead of contacting her inside the store is that he gets embarrassed easily and did not want to be around his peers in case he got turned down. Do you still call them your peers at 27, 28? I don't know. Redacted stated that after checking out that same evening, he saw another girl he wanted to talk to that was checking out in the self-checkout. He waited outside by the pillars in front of the entrance until she walked out. He approached her and asked if she would like to talk, and she turned him down. Yeah, she did, because 100% of the time, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you look like. You walk up to a woman outside of a grocery store and you want to talk, she's going to say no, thank you, and keep it trucking. I don't care what you look like or who you are. I don't even care if you're a celebrity. I don't care. If that was me, I'd be like, no, I don't want to talk to you. I want to get to my car. I just got done at the grocery store. You know, I'm lucky I made it out of there alive. The grocery store is like the devil for me. So always be aware of your surroundings, everybody. So he was unaware of the homicides that occurred until late afternoon on November 13th, around 1 p.m., after he saw an email from the university. How did he see? This person denied knowing any of the students and had only seen, seen them when a GoFundMe account was sent out to all the students. The night of the homicides, he stated he was in his room as he rarely goes anywhere except to the gym and grocery store due to a schedule with school, because he's still in school. This person agreed to provide a DNA buccal swab, iodine nitrile gloves, and used a sterile buccal swab on the inside of this person's cheek. Okay. They got the DNA. They got his DNA, so that's good. The next report is from January the 13th at 2023. Okay. It says here that they were interviewing someone as a person of interest in the multi-person homicide that occurred in Moscow. On December 11th, 2021, this person was arrested for unlawful entry by Moscow Police Department when he entered his girlfriend, redacted's, former residence when the current tenant, it's redacted, was not home. The interview took place in the parking lot in Moscow, where one of these people works. So the first one is a male, 37. That's what it just looks like, just the male. So they interviewed him. This interview took place inside my vehicle in a parking lot in Moscow, Idaho. And this is a summary of their interaction. Okay. So this person, it says, I don't know the A. Oh, it's A dot. Okay. It's just written weird. So this person entered Redacted's former apartment off Redacted in Moscow when the current tenant was not home. The intention was to retrieve a dresser he bought for this person that she had left in the apartment when she moved out. He was arrested by MPD for unlawful entry. So what did he do? Hold on. So he went into the house when the current tenant there was not home. He went there to retrieve a dresser that he bought his girlfriend. Okay, well, why didn't your girlfriend go? That's weird. No wonder why you were arrested. This person was drinking at John's Alley Tavern on November 13th, 2022, and stayed out till 2 p.m., then drove home. And it's redacted, where he lives with his father. Then went to work later that morning at 9 a.m. They agreed to a buccal swab, so he collected one. Sorry. That concluded the interview at 12:03. They transferred the swab back to MPD. The next one's going to be, the date is going to be June 13th, 2023. And it says defense items. So and this is just for them to assist with the homicides. So Jeffrey Talbot was assigned the lead investigator, crime scene investigator. BK was appointed Kootenai County Public Defender and Taylor as counsel. Taylor requested multiple items retained from the residence. Let's see. On June 8th, 2023, I conducted presumptive testing on multiple items retained from the residence. 2 items tested were presumptively positive for blood. Taylor requested MPD retain multiple items from, I'm going to assume, oh, no, I don't know. It says redactor's room. Okay, so it must be Bethany and Dylan's room. And the spare room located at 1122 King Road. I don't know, actually, but it says redacted was redacted of Gonzalez, Mogan, and Kernodle, and redacted at the time of the homicides. I don't know. So let's just see where they retain them. So it retain the following items from the residence. Oh, it says see MPD supplemental report 140. Let me see. 140. Photos of items requested to be held by defense. Okay, so these are the items right here. I'm so glad that we have those Google spreadsheets. That made it so much easier just to pull this right from there. So it says here that, oops, whoa, okay. Miss Taylor requested we set aside the following items. Items from Dylan's belongings. You can see the D right there. So she wanted handwritten note. There's the pink and white blanket with red hearts. Pink and white cloth possibly used as a curtain or decoration. Oh my gosh. Decoration. Black and white Van shoes. Red and white unknown brand shoes. Black and white Converse shoes. And then they want items from the spare bedroom right here. Adidas black and white short sleeve t-shirt, size small. And then the green and pink coat, unknown brand. And they put them in cardboard boxes, set them aside for her. And it says, prior to Miss Taylor being given a chance to look at these items, property belonging to Xana, Maddie, and Kaylee had already been released. MPD had also given Dylan back her belongings, but we were able to get her to return them. I think I talked about this the other night, about they had to get her to return the items. Because I don't know why they wouldn't think they'd have an arrest. Hey, Christy, welcome in. Hey, Dion. Welcome in, everybody. It's good to see you guys. If everyone doesn't mind, will you take a second, hit the like button if you guys are enjoying the content. If you're not, hit the dislike. I mean, it's all engagement, but don't hit that dislike. I know who does. I'm just kidding. We don't know who does. We don't know who does. Oh, it's right here. I didn't know they were going to have this. My dog's snoring like crazy back there if you hear her. So yeah, so as a handwritten note, the pink and white colored blanket with red hearts, pink and white colored cloth, black and white colored Vans shoes, red and white colored shoes, unknown brand, black and white colored Converse shoes, black and white colored Adidas short sleeve t-shirt. That's they said from the other room. And green and pink colored coat. Okay. I presumptively tested the items from report 140 with Blue Star. So they did. There it is. Blue Star. Told you they used it. I don't know. Someone was arguing with me about that the other night. At the MPD evidence storage, MPD evidence technician ET Tim Smallridge was present. The pink and white colored blanket and green and pink colored coat tested presumptive positive for blood. So I don't know why the coat would per se, maybe nosebleed or something, but maybe the blanket. I mean, that could be, I wonder whose blood it was. It says that the ISP forensic laboratory took them for further testing. So if Smallridge sent them, they should have been tested. Let's go down more. So then we have, this one is on 7/26, so July 26, 2023. So it says ISP Lieutenant Mike Mooney facilitated the production of Idaho vehicle registration, statewide electronic ticketing system, and license plate reader data to the Federal Bureau of Investigation for analysis. Okay. On November 27th, 2022, at approximately 4:30 p.m., I received an email from ISP Regional Communications Officer Mary Conrad titled ISP Contact Statewide 2022. The email contained data regarding ISP contacts with Hyundai Elantra cars in 2022. I forwarded the information to FBI analyst Beth Sulins. On December 4th, 2022, at approximately 1:08 p.m., at my request, RCO Conrad sent an email titled Plates from Plate Reader System to FBI analyst Beth Sulins. The email contained data from the LPR located on US 95 at milepost 425 MB Micah between the dates of 12/4/2022 and 12. Okay, that's 0 hours and 12/4/2022 at 13:03 hours. On December 4th, same day at 1:15 though, instead of 1:08, it's at 1:15. At my request, ROC Conrad sent an email titled More Plate Reader Info, November 13th. This email contained additional MB Micah LPR data between the dates of 12/3, 0 hours, and 12/3/2022, 23:59. On December 6, 2022, at approximately 9:50 a.m., I received access to the Idaho SWET, or is it WSET, data pertaining to all vehicles contacted by participating law enforcement agencies in Idaho. I forwarded the data to FBI analyst Beth Sulins and Maria Tyndall. On December 14th at approximately 11:22 a.m., I received a list of 2011 to 2013 Honda Elantra cars registered in Idaho from its redacted at the Idaho Transportation Department. On December 20th, 2022 at approximately 12:14 p.m., I forwarded the list to the FBI analyst Maria Tyndall. Okay. So it says that they were here, to conduct, it says time runs. Oh, this is the time runs through the residence. Okay. So it looks like they did these test runs. The report date on it anyway. Well, it says that right there. Never mind. So it says November 21st. No, that's when they conducted it. Okay. But I don't know why it says reported date up here, 7/26. That's really weird. I don't know. But it says summary. On November 21st, 2022, everybody open your ears just in case anyone's in here that says, hey, Brian Koberger couldn't do this by himself. He's only one person, all that kind of stuff. Open your ears. I appreciate that, Marcy. Thank you so much. She said, you've been working so hard this week. You have the best chat, and that is attributed to you. I appreciate that. You guys really are the best chat. I actually said that in a chat yesterday. Like, I don't know if you're supposed to really say your chat's the best, but y'all are the best. You really are. You're not like rude to people. You don't turn in an instant on somebody. Everyone can have an opinion. Just don't be like crazy weird about you know what I mean? Like, don't be like, I want to like marry Brian Koberger or anything, because we might make fun of you then. But yeah. So anybody that thinks BK couldn't have done this by himself. And I told you, I've been saying this since the beginning, he had to have did it by himself, because there's just no way that he could find somebody on the same kind of level as him to be able to pull something like this off. And then now looking at the house with the tables and stuff, just like, and where everything just was, there would have been way more stuff, I think, like out of place, even though there was a lot of stuff out of place, but it was out of place, but it wasn't, for them. So it says here that they, let's see. So they conducted time runs through the residence at 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho. Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan were murdered there during the early morning hours on November 13th, 2022. Brian C. Koberger, BK, was subsequently arrested and charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. Now he's been convicted. The purpose of the timed runs was to gain an understanding of the approximate time needed to have carried out the murders. I'd love to see a video of that. You know what I mean? Like, because they probably have like everything out of the house by then. So I was assigned and worked as the lead investigator for the Idaho State Police and assisting the Moscow Police Department with the multiple homicides. Based upon the processing of the crime scene and evidence collected, investigators believed BK drove to the area and parked at the back of the residence. There is a paved parking area directly to the south that overlooks the back of the residence. BK most likely entered the residence through a sliding glass door located on the second level and rear of the residence, and then proceeded as follows. After entering through the sliding glass door, BK walked through the kitchen area and to a set of stairs that led up to the 3rd floor. He went up the stairs to the 3rd floor. At the top of the stairs and directly to the left side is a door which was Gonzalez's bedroom, and to the right is a short hallway that ended into a bathroom and another door to Mogan's bedroom. Most likely, BK checked Gonzalez's bedroom, saw it was empty, and then moved into Mogan's bedroom, where he believed Gonzalez and Mogan were asleep in Mogan's bed. BK murdered both of them in the bed. So with that being said, do you guys think that maybe Kaylee was the intended target? If they think that, if they have a reason to think that he went into her bedroom, and maybe that's because the bedroom door was open. I don't know. I don't know what would make them think he went in there first, but that's how this is reading. And DM, if you want to, I was thinking of you earlier. If you want to watch the video from earlier with the crime scene photos, there's no victims in there at all. It's mostly just the house and no blood that I remember. They did do blue star, but there was nothing. I mean, you can see the blue star in places, but nothing that's bad. So I was thinking of you. Because at first I thought Kaylee was the target. I think a lot of us we first thought Kaylee, and then we kind of maybe moved to Maddie because of the, I guess him leaving the knife sheath in there and I guess just a little bit totality, a little bit of everything. But if they're saying that they think that he went into that first bedroom, maybe because the door was open. And maybe I know that Dylan did say, I'm going to put out her statements tomorrow. I have them all wrote down. I just need to put them on like a Canva doc. So it's like nicer, but she did say something, about how they all slept with their doors closed. And she was wondering why, I think she said she was wondering why Xana's door was open. Like that crossed her mind when she was like going past the door. So it could have been both of them. I didn't. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Pearl. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the time and work you put into preparing and reading these documents. I really appreciated being in this community space. I appreciate you being here. Well, look at that. And Happy Mom became a new member. I didn't even see these. I was reading so good. Oh, in case you fall asleep. Oh, Pearl, yeah, it's late over there. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that, Pearl. I really do. I really, really do. Sometimes I'm in the chats watching you guys when you're live. I just don't say much. Thank you. Thanks, Cheryl. Appreciate that. I can't believe we almost read 500. We're at 532. We almost read this whole dang documents, all of them. And we didn't skip any because that's not how we roll. Someone said they were bored earlier or something about the Idaho case. I said, I'm not bored. I said, this is what we've been waiting for. Like, we've been waiting to kind of hear all this. So this is kind of like the PCA, but just a little more detailed. So it says here that BK most likely went back down the stairs, walked through the second floor living room, and then down the hallway, which ended at Kernodle's bedroom. Based on the evidence, Kernodle was initially attacked just inside the bedroom near the entrance. So it looks like he did meet her at her bedroom door. Kernodle fought the suspect in the bedroom area and was ultimately killed on the floor of the bedroom next to the bed. Chapin, who we believe was asleep, was murdered in the bed. Koberger left the bedroom area, walked back down the hallway, passed through the living room, kitchen, and exited through the sliding glass door, leaving the door partly open. BK then walked back to his vehicle and drove away from the area. So then we have Jeff Talbot and then Corporal Brett Payne assisted with the time runs. Corporal Payne tracked the times for each run. Detective Talbot walked through the residence with me, calling out the number of strikes to stimulate the number of wounds to each victim based on autopsy reports. So goes up there. I don't know how many stab wounds that Maddie had, but I know it was a lot. And then Kaylee had like 50. So he would probably do this 50 times or whatever. And they know, I'm sure, how many stab wounds that Maddie had, but I don't think that they put it in the documents how many she had. So then it says, I conducted 2 time runs, the first being a quick as possible run and the second a slower, deliberate timed run. During the first trial run, I began at the rear of the residence and came through the sliding glass door. I then moved quickly through the kitchen and up the stairs. I looked into the bedroom to the left and then moved down the hallway and into Mogan's bedroom. I simulated the number of strikes that were inflicted upon Mogan and Gonzalez. Detective Talbot counted and kept track in an attempt to recreate the movements and motions believed to have occurred based on the evidence collected in autopsy reports. I moved out of the bedroom, down the stairs, through the living room, down the hallway, and into Kernodle's bedroom. Again, with the assistance of Detective Talbot, I simulated the number of strikes that were inflicted upon Kernodle and Chapin. I then exited back down the hallway, through the living room, through the kitchen, and out the sliding glass door. Corporal Payne reported a time of approximately 1 minute 30 seconds on the quickest possible timed run. 1 minute 30 seconds. Man. Wow. Really, Jeremy? We did do a video on him. I had it private and then I put it back out because I got to edit that piece out that they were like that 30 seconds or whatever that they were being so crazy about. So 1 minute 30, that's crazy. I mean, wow. So on the second run, the slower and deliberate run, I followed the same path throughout the residence, but at a much slower, methodical pace. I again entered through the rear sliding glass door, opening it slowly to make no noise while doing so. I then walked as quickly as I could through the kitchen and up the stairs, attempting to make no noises. I looked into the first bedroom and then slowly moved down the hallway and into Mogan's bedroom. Detective Talbot counted and kept track again as I recreated the movements and motions believed to have occurred inside the bedroom. I exited the bedroom, moved back down the stairs, through the living room, down the hallway, and into Kernodle's bedroom. The movement to Kernodle's bedroom was slower than the first run, but still somewhat quick. I again simulated the movements and motions that took place inside Kernodle's bedroom. I then exited back down the hallway, through the living room, through the kitchen, and out the sliding door. Corporal Payne reported a time of approximately 2 minutes and 33 seconds. Wow, that's pretty. Wow, okay. That's very short. I mean, that's a very short amount of time. We additionally walked through the simulated paths that Koberger may have possibly taken from the vehicle to the back of the residence. The shortest and most direct path, going from the parking area and moving east to west along the back of the house, took approximately 30 seconds. A second path, starting at the southern edge of the property and walking a fence line through some trees and moving in a south to north direction towards the back of the house, took approximately 1 minute. The times to make the same two paths at the running pace were approximately 6 to 7 seconds for the short path and 10 to 12 seconds for the longer path. The time runs revealed that it was possible for BK to have carried out the murders in as few as 2 minutes and 6 seconds, going at a fast pace on the shortest route to the vehicle, or as much as 3 minutes and 45 seconds going at a slower pace on the longer route to the vehicles. This concluded the stimulated timed runs through the residence. Now, when did they do this? November 21st? No. No, that's when they did it, but it says Koberger in here. It's just weird. That was like before his arrest. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Okay. So then this is, it says Detective Powell conducted video evidence recovery from various businesses. Okay. And then all the videos were turned over to the Moscow Police Department. Okay. So this is, they don't show us the location, and then it just says digital evidence was downloaded and given to Moscow. So just on November 20th, November 22nd, November 22nd, November 22nd again, November 23rd, 2 on November 23rd, and then 1 on December 13th. But yeah, it just doesn't say. It just says met with redacted, located redacted, and then it all reads the same. And there's no narrative because there's nothing to talk about, I guess. Okay, so they interviewed somebody who lives in Moscow. The interview was about the murders, and it was the interview took place over telephone, and it was on November 18th, 2022 at 6:23 p.m. So he lives with his girlfriend, and it says she went to bed early. He stayed up until about 2:30 a.m. playing video games and working on homework since he is an outlying redacted. Sorry. After going to bed, he had been asleep for approximately an hour when he awoken by a vehicle with loud exhaust speeding away down the street past his house. He assumed it was a white Audi that parks near his house quite frequently and has a loud aftermarket exhaust. The Audi normally parks near the cul-de-sac on the end of King Road. He believed it would have occurred between 3 and 4:30 a.m., but was unsure since he didn't check his clock. After the vehicle traveled past his house, he believed the vehicle turned onto Taylor Avenue, going east by the way the sound of the vehicle was coming from. Could have been Kohlberger. So on October 31st and November 1st, it says that the members of the FBI Evidence Response Team, Operations Project Unit, and Salt Lake City Division responded to the King Road, Latah County, Idaho. So remember when we were wondering about the guys, like everyone was talking about the guys in the cowboy hats, right? They like showed up one night and they went in and they got some stuff and they pieced out really quick. You guys remember that? And a lot of people were talking about who they were. I wonder if this was them. I wonder when they went. I don't know if I could look that up. Idaho for I know that there was a video of it. Let me see if I can. If I can't find it very fast, so okay. This could be it, maybe. I found it. Wow. December 9th. So when does this report say? Okay, so October 31st, November 1st. Let's just remember like that. I'm going to put the date here. We might have already read about it. Because this would have probably came out the same day. So I'm assuming. I'll show you right here. If I can see the guys in the hat. For some reason, people were wondering like who these people were. And they were like the guy with the cowboy hat. Like one of them had I think people thought they all had cowboy hats on, but they didn't. Just one of them did. So this says December 9th. So, well, I thought maybe, but no, because I mean, they wouldn't have Texas Rangers because Texas Rangers wouldn't come up to. I mean, they're in Texas. They're for Texas. You know what I mean? Like Rangers aren't federal. I mean, I don't even know if would they be. I mean, no, they wouldn't even be like in the same class, right? But it's just one with the cowboy hat, so I don't know. But we're gonna figure out who they are. That's what we will figure it out. We're gonna try to figure out who they are. Anyway, but I just remember that whenever I saw this because I was like, oh, maybe that's these guys, but I guess not. But it says, oh, they completed the 3D scan, so and they could be marshals. Yeah, I was gonna say they're probably marshals. But yeah, I'm curious to know who they were too. So it says the FBI teams completed multiple 3D scans and photographs of the residence and surrounding area. Prior to members entering the residence, the Idaho State Police Detective Jeffrey Talbot completed a walkthrough. I confirmed the residence was structurally the same as it was on November 13th, 2022. At the request of OPU Special Agent Bill Dimon, I downloaded a copy of the .3D scans and I completed on November 13th, and he provided it to MPD. So, okay. This is a walkthrough, it looks like. It says that Paulette Sutton on December 21st, 2023. Why Why so late in the game? Bloodstain pattern analysis consultant responded to the King Road residents. Also present were Latah County Prosecuting Attorney Bill Thompson, Ashley Jennings, Moscow Police Department Corporal Brett Payne, and Idaho State Police Sergeant Darren Gilbertson. Sutton completed a walkthrough of the residence. Prior to Sutton entering the residence, ISP Detective Talbot completed a walkthrough of the residence. So I confirmed the residence was structurally the same as it was on November 13th. During September of 2023, the Latah County Court received emails alleging violations of Idaho grand jury rules about the case against Brian Koberger. BK. They never spell his name right, and I think it's kind of funny. The court sent the allegations to the prosecution and defense. So the Sergeant Gilbertson conducted follow-up on the allegations. So it says, on September 7th, 2023, after receiving the initial email alleging violations of Idaho grand jury rules, I emailed the sender requesting more information. I advised her I was assigned to the investigation and wanted further clarification regarding the screenshots she had attached to the email. So they received a follow-up email back from this lady the same day. She stated the screenshots originated from, it's redacted, but she provided email addresses for both. I emailed both individuals on September 12th, 2023, requesting contact to discuss the conversations captured in the screenshots. I did not receive any reply or contact from either of these individuals. On October 12th, 2023, Detective Brett Payne of the Moscow Police Department and I emailed Shannon Gray requesting a meeting. Why are you asking him for a meeting? Mr. Gray is the attorney representing the family of Kaylee Gonzalez. We requested to speak regarding the screenshots showing conversations that appear to reference redacted, Kaylee Gonzalez speaking to individuals about the grand jury proceedings. We did not receive any reply or contact back from Mr. Gray regarding our request. What the hell? What? What? Okay, we're going to keep reading. On October 12th, 2023, I was forwarded an email showing screenshots from a Facebook page that is titled the Gonzalez Family Page. The screenshots show some of the same screenshots that were forwarded to the court by, it's redacted. Part of the posting stated, we recently were aware of some messages claiming to have fabricated text from redacted, as well as trying to incite others to spread lies. While we understand the internet is a big place and people are free to say whatever they like, we personally feel a line was crossed and we would like to pursue further action. If anyone knows any more about these screenshots, knows who created them, what they said, etc., I would feel comfortable sharing, and you would feel comfortable sharing with us, we would be extremely appreciative. This was the last information that was received about the allegations of violations of Idaho grand jury rules. All emails and attached screenshots will be provided to the Moscow Police Department to enter into evidence. Put it into evidence? What the hell? That's why I hate this redacted crap. Because it's like redacted and it's like all of a sudden they're calling Shannon Gray and it's like, well, why are they doing that, you know? Yeah, maybe, Christy. Thank you, Kathy. I don't know why. That's what I meant to do. I meant to put y'all up here. Man. I meant to put you guys up here. Then I can have you like up at the top and over here. It just makes it a lot easier. See you guys. Okay. Yeah, man. So, we read through all that, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's see if they say anything else about it. So it says here on December 9th, Detective Herman and Detective Adams Jr., they interviewed this lady and her husband regarding their connection to Gonzalez through babysitting services. Okay. So it looks like the female is 33 and the male is 37. Gonzalez had been a babysitter for a family in the Moscow area during the summer of 2022. The family, that's redacted. The date of birth, 1985, date of birth of 1988, and their 2 children. It says where they live at. It's redacted. After the interview with this person, they obtained the person's phone numbers. I requested the cast agents to check the time frame for which we had the cell phone data at that time. I think it says cell, like cell data right there. But it says redacted. Data appeared to place this person's phone at their residence on the night of the murders. However, when I checked redacted's phone data, his location was not within the data collected. This can occur if a phone is turned off based on the information from redacted and the lack of data. We decided to interview both. Okay, there's a lot of redactions in there. So the first one they talked to is the woman, and she's at her place of employment. She works for, it doesn't say, but she had not sent in any tips regarding Gonzalez's employment with her as a babysitter. I began the interview, and he asked her if Gonzalez had been babysitting for her or other families. She confirmed Gonzalez did babysit for her and may have babysat for another family, but wasn't sure. She told me her husband had introduced her to somebody who coordinated childcare. She stated there was approximately 5 sorority sisters who would provide childcare, I guess, for them. And she stated the only way she paid the girls was via the Venmo app on her phone. She stated Gonzalez had provided childcare for them for a few weeks during the spring semester of 2022. She told us the last time Gonzalez babysat for them was on her 21st birthday. She stated Gonzalez had babysat for them 5 or 6 times total. She stated they paid each girl $15 an hour for their work. She stated Gonzalez was not a full-time employee, and she also stated most of the work occurred during the week. So he asked her what a normal routine for her family was when there was a football game at home. She explained that her and her family usually attend the home games, and for the game of November 12th, 2022, they had family in town for the game. She stated she attended the game and then went home after. She told me she didn't see any of the victims of the murder at the game. She told me her and her family, minus redacted, were at home when they found out about the murder that occurred near the university. She told me redacted was in the office when the University of Idaho Kibidone when it was put into a lockdown situation. I asked her about her personal interaction with Gonzalez. She described her as bubbly and a great person. She said the only time she ever saw her not happy was after her 21st birthday. She told me Gonzalez arrived at her house to watch her children appearing to be hungover. She said she helped Gonzalez feel better. I asked if there was any other applications other than a messaging application they used to communicate or schedule babysitting. She told me there wasn't. I asked how the girls who babysat were paid. She told me through Venmo. She stated she was paying the girls $15 an hour to babysit. She told me she never had any conversations with Gonzalez outside of babysitting, except for when Gonzalez arrived at her house to babysit on her 21st birthday. She told me Gonzalez quit being a babysitter for her and her husband. For her, and redacted. She learned Gonzalez had accepted a job as an intern for some sort of IT company. She told us that for the new job, Gonzalez was going to work remotely for an IT company and offered to continue watching the kids during the summer. She explained she learned the internship was a 40-hour-a-week internship that paid $25 an hour, and she told me the last time she had contact with Gonzalez was in July of 2022. Towards the end of the interview, I asked redacted if there was ever an inappropriate relationship between herself and Gonzalez, or between, I'm assuming, her husband and Gonzalez, or any inappropriate relationship with any of the other babysitters. This person told me there had never been any inappropriate relationships that she was aware of. She told me that redacted had little to no interaction with any of the babysitters. The only one who ever attended dinner was it's redacted. We concluded the interview. I then contacted redacted, it's her husband. Sorry, I met with him at the Kibidone, or met with him at the Kibidone. Let me get back down here. Couldn't get to the messages. That's a good question. Why would they ask that? And the bigger question, like, was there any inappropriate like relationships? But then he said, then she, what did he, it was something else that he even said. Oh, she said not that she's aware of. What? I'm just saying, like, if somebody asked me, and let's say me and Vince had a baby together, and what we do with like these dogs. Say someone came to visit our dogs, and then the cops show up, and they're like, "Did your husband have any inappropriate relationships with the person that was watching your dogs?" Absolutely not. It would be like no question in my mind. I wouldn't say not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of. So then contacted him and they went to the Kibbe Dome on the University of Idaho campus. So let's see what he had to say. So at approximately 11:37, we began the interview. I explained why we wanted to talk with him. He was not nervous and was not afraid to speak with us. He explained I think he works for the university, but he went on to explain he met Redacted while working and asked if she'd be willing to babysit. Maybe Kayla, I don't know. Oh no, it says Redacted agreed, and that is how this person came to know Gonzalez. Maybe Maddie, I don't know. Redacted even explained that after asking someone else about babysitting, he didn't even save her phone number in his phone for obvious reasons. Okay. This person appeared to be very conscious of how it may look if he was contacting female students. He stated he was not involved very much with the babysitting and did not handle any of the logistics of it. Outside of something Redacted, had little to no contact with the other babysitters and told us he met Gonzalez maybe 2 times. Any interactions he had with the babysitters was mostly in passing. So this person confirmed the statements of how he knew Gonzalez and how the babysitting operation was performed by his wife, I'm assuming. And he explained that after the games, he would meet with Redacted at a location off campus. The day of the incident, he was notified of the murders when he was already in the Kibbe Dome game planning for the next week. We asked if he had seen any of the victims after the football game the night before they were found. He said did not see any of the victims after the game. He asked what they did after the game, what he did after the game. He stated he went to Best Western, as is custom after games, with other, friends, and then went home. He was asked what his contact was like with the Redacted. He told me his phone was always on and that Redacted could reach out to him if he needed, but that was not the standard. I asked if his phone was normally on 24/7. He said it was. After explaining the totality of the circumstance and the link between him and Gonzalez, I asked if he would be willing to provide a DNA sample. We explained the sample was going to be used to rule out or match a person to any evidence that may be obtained. We also explained the DNA sample would not be placed into the national database. He ultimately agreed, and we obtained a sample from him. The sample was later given to the Moscow Police Department and processed according to their policy and procedures. I also asked him if he had any inappropriate relationships with any of the victims or students at the university. He denied any inappropriate relationships. There were no other tips or statements to say otherwise. He told me the only interaction he had with Gonzalez outside of babysitting was when she arrived at the house to watch the kids, and she appeared hungover. He told us his wife took care of her. We concluded our interview. Okay. So then they received a tip who stated he had information on the quadruple homicide. And this person is a Idaho State Correctional Institution inmate. He was interviewed by the FBI. So this person made numerous claims during the interview about the circumstances surrounding the murders and who was involved. He stated the house where the murders took place was a location where he provided security to individuals who delivered unknown items to the house. He stated he did not know what they were delivering, but understood that what they were doing was illegal. This person referenced several individuals by nicknames but did not know any full legal names. His main associates were, and it's redacted. So then on one of their trips, this person stated they were leaving Lewiston and heading for Moscow when a car crash happened in front of them. He stated the driver was ejected through the front windshield but survived. He stated he stopped at the crash and waited for police to arrive, spoke to them briefly, and then continued to Moscow. He stated this happened at 3 a.m., exactly 30 days before the murders. The murders occurred on November 13th, which by his statement would mean the accident occurred on October 13th, 2022. Would that be 30 days? Because there's 31 days in October. I don't know. I searched ISP District 2 calls from this date and did not locate any crashes that matched his description. I then contacted the Nez Perce County Sheriff's Department and requested they check to see if the Sheriff's Department or Lewiston Police Department responded to any crashes on this date which matched his description. They could find no records of the Sheriff's Department or LPD responding to a crash matching the description. I requested they expand the search to October 12th through the 14th, 2022, and still did not find any matches. Okay, look at that. So he stated he was later punished by redacted, for stopping at the scene of the crash. He stated that redacted broke both of his feet. He stated he was in jail from October 28th, 2022 through December 9th, 2022 in both Spokane County and Kootenai County. On October 31st, 2024, Detective Brett Payne of the Moscow Police Department contacted both the Spokane County and Kootenai County Sheriff's Departments. Spokane County stated redacted was arrested in Airway Heights, Washington on November 23rd, 2022 for assault. He was then transferred to Kootenai County for a warrant. Neither detention center had any records of this person having broken feet. You know how hard it is to break someone's feet? You know how many bones are in your feet? Kootenai County reported having redacted listed as having, I don't know, something. Maybe it's a mental health problem. Additionally, the dates of his incarceration did not match what he stated in his interview. Yeah, I would have been like, you were actually out on the day of the murder. Where were you at, bud? That's what I say. So then on October 31st, I followed up with S.A. O'Neill about the interview he conducted. Said with that guy, I'm sure. S.A. O'Neill stated that he had a long history with redacted and that he used to work as an informant for him. He stated he eventually fired this guy as an informant because he was a pathological liar. S.A. O'Neill stated he continually sought out law enforcement to try to help himself out when he got into trouble, but he never had credible or reliable information. S.A. O'Neill stated during the recent interview with Redacted, he did not find him credible and did not believe anything that he said in the interview. We could tell you that too. Man, we're giving Ann Taylor a run for her money looking at all these documents so fast. Reported date 12/12/22. And it says on December 2nd, 2022, Idaho State Police Lieutenant Tyler Barrett conducted a phone interview with reference to tip 5231. No one answered the first phone call attempt. The second phone call attempt, the person on the other line who identified herself as redacted asked if we could talk another time. The third phone call I was able to visit with, redacted, explained an odd conversation she had with a rideshare driver. This person explained the driver talked about how one of the victims was stabbed 25 to 28 times. The driver also had the same tow truck as the tow truck used at the crime scene. The driver worked at Redacted, also brought up other random information. But that tip 5231 was subsequently closed. So December 3rd, 2022, Idaho State Police Detective Knudsen and I interviewed this redacted person, explained how her boyfriend relayed a story he had heard from someone else. He explained he had a knife flashed at him at a party. Redacted also explained this incident happened approximately 1 to 2 years prior. That tip was closed. On or about December, is it the same thing? I think it is. Yeah, this is the same thing I just read. Yeah, same thing I just read. Okay. So then this summary here is from 5/12/25. So that's like pretty freaking recent. That's what it says. On April 16th, 2025, Idaho State Police Lieutenant Tyler Barrett was subpoenaed for case D22000030. I don't know if I said all the zeros, but while preparing for court and reviewing my materials, I realized that some audio recordings may not have been included in the evidence or reports. I contacted ISP Lieutenant Gilbertson regarding these files. The audio files were specifically for 2 closed tips, the ones that we just read, 5231 and then one for 2953. It was determined the audio files had not been placed into evidence or reports written for the closed tips. Out of an abundance of caution, it was determined to complete a report and submit the audio files. So maybe that's why it's so late. On May 1st, 2025, I completed a report for tip 5231 and tip 2953. On the same day, I was also provided Lieutenant Gilbertson's the audio files. Lieutenant Gilbertson subsequently turned the audio files over to the Moscow Police Department. Okay, so then on April 16th, 2025, the Idaho State Police Lieutenant Tyler Barrett was subpoenaed for the case just D22000030. While preparing for court and reviewing my materials, I realized that's the same thing, I think. Yeah, it is. Like, because if it's this summary narrative, usually it's like if it's short, it's going to be the same as the narrative. Because see, it's supposed to be like summary like this, but and then when you go down like here, it's more of a longer summary. But the summary narrative up here says that Detective Gideon Roberts contacted multiple subjects by telephone who had been identified as witnesses by defense counsel for the upcoming trial. It says trial of Brian Koberger. BK had been charged in the murder of Kaylee J. Gonzalez, Madison May Mogan, Xana Alexis Kernodle, and Ethan James Chapin. And it has all of their names. So on May 30th, 2025, I contacted multiple subjects by phone who had identified as witnesses by defense counsel for the upcoming trial, it says trail again, of Koberger. Subjects contacted and details of the interviews are as follow. So this person had been subpoenaed by the defense counsel for the first trial, but has not been subpoenaed for the new trial. He has not had any contact with defense counsel for Koberger. This other person, he has not received a subpoena or had any contact with defense counsel for Koberger. The next person was interviewed by defense counsel around 4/2/2024, which was arranged by Washington State University and was attended by WSU Attorney General. He has not received a subpoena or had any additional contact with defense counsel for BK. So this person, she received subpoenas from the state and defense counsel for BK. She has not received any, she had not had any direct contact with defense counsel for BK. However, retired attorney and family friend redacted communicated once with someone on her behalf after she received a subpoena. So these are all just saying that he has received a subpoena for the defense, that he hasn't had any contact with anybody from the defense. This person received a subpoena, but he didn't remember if it was from the state or the defense. This person did not receive any. No contact with, redacted at the time of this report. Okay. This is the same thing. Wait, not this one. He was interviewed by defense investigators by phone about 8 months ago. They asked him questions about his daily experience, whether he heard a dog barking during the time around the murders, and what his experience was the morning after the murders. He felt as if the investigators were attempting to wrap me into the case. The investigators told him it was unlikely he would have to testify. Okay. So they contacted multiple people by phone who had been identified as witnesses by defense counsel. Why are they contacting subjects by telephone? Like, that doesn't make much sense to me. Like, why would ISP be calling witnesses for the defense? Does that sound weird to anybody else? Does that sound like funky? Like, that's funky to me. Like, the state police are I don't know. The state police are calling. That's weird to me. I don't know. That is weird. I don't know why they'd be calling. You don't need to be calling. I mean, if they're with the defense or not. I guess I don't know. Maybe because the prosecution was going to use them, but no, the prosecution should be doing all that. Very weird. So on June 3rd through the 5th, I contacted multiple subjects by phone. Okay, who had been identified as witnesses from the defense by the defense counsel. Okay. So this person had been subpoenaed by the defense counsel for preliminary hearing and received a subpoena in March 2025. She was interviewed by the defense counsel before the preliminary hearing, but hasn't been in contact with them since. Probably couldn't help them. She provided a list of questions asked by the defense counsel via email. This email is attached to the supplemental report as an e-file. Is that weird to anybody else? That's weird. I don't know why. That just does not seem right. So this person had received a subpoena for the preliminary hearing and was notified by his former fraternity brothers that law enforcement had recently attempted to serve a subpoena at his former address. He has not had any contact with defense counsel for BK. The next person, she has not received a subpoena or had any contact with defense counsel for the BK. Oops. I placed calls to 3 phones associated with, I don't know, redacted. On June 3rd, 4th, 5th, I left voicemails at the numbers most likely to be his, and I have received no response. This person received a subpoena for the defense, but she's had no contact, but believes they have attempted to call her. She has not called them back. Okay, you should probably do that. So this person contacted them on June 5th and arranged for her to meet Moscow Police Detective Fox at the Moscow Police Department. That's weird. Okay. So then multiple people, that have been identified by witnesses for the defense. The defense subpoenaed him on 4/18/2025. He has reached out multiple times to the defense and has not had any contact with the defense counsel for BK. So they haven't called him back? So this person wanted to add that approximately 2 weeks before the homicides occur, he saw a lone white male with black hair driving north on Conestoga past his residence. He stated the male was driving a white-collar sedan. He stated this memory came back to him after BK had been arrested, and the news media released a video of the traffic stop that occurred with BK and his father. This person has received a subpoena from both the defense and prosecution. She's only spoken with the witness coordinator at the PA's office and has no contact with the defense counsel for BK. This person received a subpoena from the defense counsel for BK in April. She spoke with someone from Ann's team on May 8th. She's unaware of what she'll be testifying to. Okay, no contact. Unable to provide phone number. Okay. I think this is the last one. So then we've got more people that were contacting identified as witnesses before the defense. And this was on 6/5/25. That just don't make no damn sense to me. Well, no, I just don't. This doesn't make any sense. I was notified ISP District 2 detectives would be contacting people who were identified witnesses by defense counsel for the upcoming trial of Brian Koberger. Koberger has been charged in the murder of Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, Ethan. This person, no subpoena. She was interviewed on the phone by the defense team approximately a year ago. She talked about being at a party on Taylor Avenue with her friend and walking home to her sorority. And this is going to read the same as this read. Maybe not. No subpoena. No contact with the defense. No working phone number. No working phone. We did it. We did it. I'm like, what is that? My watch just like buzzed, and I was gonna say if that's more paperwork coming through, that would be funny to me. So 556 pages, we did it. We went through them all. Now a lot of them, there were so many things in here. Like to me, I was reading it and we're reacting to it, like we're reacting as we're going through it. But then I felt like at the end of the night, like I'm like, well, what did I just read? Like, did I really just read that? So I am going to go back through a lot of the documents, and I'm going to like pick out the biggest, I don't know, the biggest, like, I don't know, like things that happened, I guess. Yeah, he didn't think he was going to be caught, in my opinion, either. And someone was talking about him in the jail, like there's a bag on the floor, and I was listening to someone, I can't remember, and they were saying that they thought it was his like sack lunch, but that's way too big of a sack right there. That's just too big. Like they give you a sack lunch like in an actual like sack lunch bag. But like I think that it looked like, to me, it looked like one of those like accordion files where you would get like your paperwork in, like your paperwork like that you wanted to print off from the trial, or the PCA or whatever he wanted in his, like, to be printed off and have for his own little private viewing pleasure. I think that's what was in that little container. So if you guys watch the video again and you see it, I don't know, it just looks bigger to me. So I could probably Brian Koberger in prison. Probably that's all you have to put, and it'll probably come up. What are you doing there, dog? She got, her ears are bothering her, I guess. There's too many. Okay. In prison cell, maybe. Here we go. Just gotta. Oh, there's stupid things gonna be in the way. Their banner. Okay, well, crap. Let me see if I can find it somewhere else. Hey, don't you do that. That dog's gonna put a hole in that rug any day now. Actually, go ahead and do it. Just kidding. We just got that. There it is. Maybe this will show it to where it's not like, oh, is this going to be blocked too? Oh, no, this is a different. Oh, no, I thought this was a different angle from it. But you can't see it because his writing's in the way. So right here, this bag, it just looks too big to be like a sack lunch to me. I'm trying to find a better, let me duplicate this, a better video. There was one more I saw, but this is on YouTube also. Or I mean, this is on YouTube. Okay, this might be better. I was thinking Facebook. I'm trying to get it to where, like, I don't know. You can't really see it through the writing, but it just, to me, that's what it looks like. I don't know. So I'm not sure what it is. Oh, I didn't even put it up on the stage right here. This little bag. You see it? Yeah, I do too, Ladybug. And it just, I mean, in this angle, it's not that good of an angle, but there's better angles. I feel like, I mean, they're all the same angle, but they have like that gone, the writing. Just, of course, I can't find it since it's in all YouTube shorts. Okay, well, no, she did it too. Stinking people. Everyone put their like thing on there. Oh wait, maybe it's on TikTok. There we go. Okay. So you can see it a little bit better there. Let me get me like out of the way so you can actually see the bag. Like to me, that looks almost like one of those accordion files. Like that's been handled a little too much. But I don't know. We may never know. I can't believe we actually saw him in prison though. Like, I mean, the person that took that video, do you think they're going to find out who did it? I mean, the person took the video, like there's the screen, right? Like say you guys, say you're the screen or whatever, but she took it like this or he, and like all they have to do is go back on their security video. Who was in the box? Who had control of the monitors at the time, right? It is. It's a medical. I actually said that. It's the medical part of the prison. So it was when he was first brought in my opinion. This looks like it when he was first brought in. You can see like the toilet in the back at a certain point. If I maybe move it back, right there, you can see where the handrails are for like someone that would need handrails for the toilet. They normally don't have handrails like that around every porcelain throne in prison. His bed, I noticed his bed looks like a medical bed. That's definitely not a prison bed. That's definitely not a jail bed. That's definitely a hospital bed. And what else did I notice in here? I think that was really it. Those two things was the two major things that I did notice. And then in the video, I mean, there was other things that I noticed that just were kind of weird. Like he keeps the napkin, like his OCDs must be very like just directed towards his hands. Or maybe he's just washing his hands so much because they're freaking killing machines. He killed people with them. Maybe he's trying to scrub off maybe he looks at his hands and he sees blood. You never know. It might not be really an OCD thing. Might just be a trauma. He's messed up in the head thing now, right? I mean, he did do something horrific. So that could be it because he puts the dirty napkin back with all of his personal stuff. Like all of his personal stuff is up here on this. Look at this. All of his clothes. Why would you put that close to your clean clothes? Creepy me creeperson. Yeah, he could. I mean, like, and then he has his toilet. I mean, his toilet paper is not on the ground, so I mean, that's good. But it is on that handrail, and you don't know who's touched that handrail. Like I'm OCD. Like I don't know. I don't know. The shoes also. I know. Like I was trying to. There's different OCDs, right? There's cleanliness. There's people that are organizational, freaks, and like that's me. And cleanliness is me. It's all I'm all these, but and then there's also people that are like have to have things in certain order. So there's multiple ways to be OCD, but I noticed like his clothing is just kind of like thrown in the corner. And then there's like toilet paper, I think, sitting on top of it. Then his shoes aren't very like lined up very straight, which I'm not saying everybody that's OCD has to line up their shoes straight, but he doesn't. He kind of just threw his black shoes back on the floor that he just cleaned so nicely. And then his bed and stuff over here, like it's made, but it's not made like, I may have to go back the other way. It's not made like, I don't know, where it looks like military. Someone from the military made it like me. Like I'm not from the military, but you think I was. By the way, I make my bed. Oh, happy Cappy, don't smoke at all. You won't have one for the morning. Listen to me. I used to smoke. You should try vaping, Happy Cappy. Really, it really saved me. And you can sneak your vape in a lot of places. Don't tell on me. Thank you, Cheryl, for becoming a new member. Thank you so much. It's very nice of you. Thank you. So I still can't believe we got Brian in his cell. Is he wearing orange socks? Maybe. I would think they were white, but it might just be his shoe. Just had a feeling she was going to be staring at me, and she was, the dog. It's funny. And welcome, yeah, welcome in, Cheryl. Thank you. Let me see. Was there anything else? Oh, I thought you said. I thought you meant that there was Betsy. That there was another one. Like he was going back on trial or something. I was like, what? Yeah, yeah. He's a sick individual. Hey, Vanessa, welcome in. He is odd. See, and I don't know. It's hard to like say. Is it autism? Is it something more? I don't know. I would think that I have autism. I'm never thought about hurting anybody before, but I'm not socially weird. Like social. That's what they like. Not socially awkward. I would say is the word, not weird, but socially awkward. I'm not really. I guess I am. I'm thinking about it now. No, I'm usually not. I'm usually like a little butterfly that gets her wings when I'm around people. I'm an extrovert at heart, but I'm an introvert at the same time. It's a really weird life to live because I was always an extrovert. Like I was always out there and wanted to be like, I wanted to be the center of focus when I was younger. You know what I mean? Just like, oh, look at me. I'm cute. I'm cutesy. But then I turned like 30, maybe a little less, maybe like in my late 20s, and I became a total introvert. But I'm still the same. I'm still like extroverted when I get around people. I love a group of people, just depending on where and when and how and all that stuff. You know. So I don't know. They did say like one of the students said that they all got together and they thought maybe Brian had autism like before. And I was like, So maybe they were trying to give him excuses, I mean, they were. I'm going to do a video about that, like about Washington State and all the missteps that they took because they literally put like blinders on for months. And then finally, like when it was way past due, that's when they started reprimanding him. Like you let him treat people like this for months and you just said, I'll keep an eye on him or I'll make sure that these ladies or whatever aren't alone in a room with him or make sure that they're, security's walking him out to their car. And I'm going to make sure that I give her an A, even though he gave her a C, I'll give her the A because she deserves the A. Like, and not even tell Brian, like, hey, why'd you grade her like that? Like, just give her another grade. It's just, yeah, I don't know. But I am going to release a video tomorrow. I'm going to either probably record it tonight or tomorrow, probably tomorrow morning, but it'll be out tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon. And it's going to be all of Dylan's statements to police. That way, like people can see that there wasn't huge changes within her statements. It will start off with the body cam footage, just the part of her doing the interview. And then I'll go into some of the other stuff I have because I have it all, I believe. Yeah, it's right here. Yeah, it's right there. She did do like a few different, I have like 7 pages. So it's a lot. And I'm gonna put it onto like a Canva doc. So that way we can all look at it and see it better. But thank you guys so much for being here. You're welcome, Mary Jane. I appreciate that. You're heading to Washington to see your son? Oh, well, Mega Mom, I hope you have a safe trip. I have the sensory, Marcella. Mine, he says, so he's sensitive. Like, oh, you mean like sensitive? I'm sensitive too. I'm very I could be very sensitive, just depending on the day, I guess, Vanessa, me too. When they first pull up to the scene and Dylan is just wailing, right? She's just, it's terrible. It's just, I don't know. But thank you guys for being here tonight. I appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow. There's always tomorrow. I'm trying to think if I'll do a day live. I might. Just depending on what we're doing. I don't know. Vincent's off tomorrow, but Vincent may be home for the rest of his career. So he's going to be working remote. So you know, we'll be together all the time. We're going to get like, I think a partition for here. That way, if he has to do some work, I could do some work at the same time. If I do need to go live really quick, I could probably go live. Then I'll knock the partition down on accident and then you can see him. There we go. There we go. I'm going to make it happen. But thank you for being here tonight. I do appreciate it. I will see you guys all tomorrow. If I don't see you during the day, I'll be back at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to do a live. I think we may go over the pictures again, just like maybe wrap everything up a little bit, you know, and see where we're at the end of that live. I do want to go over the Bill Thompson interviews though, too. So maybe we'll do that tomorrow. But thank you guys for being here. I will see you guys all tomorrow evening. Have a wonderful night. And I appreciate you guys all being here. Bye.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to live this out. We got this far, don't know how.